So, a very good morning and a warm welcome to the esteemed speakers who we have with us here today on Zoom platform. I thank you for being a part of this MOOC launch. And I would also like to welcome the students and the audience who have joined us on the YouTube platform. On behalf of the Prevented team, I, Ria Joshi, would like to thank you for joining us for the launch of this massive open online course. MOOC is an exclusive platform curated with the vision to offer 4 free certification courses on risk management and prevention of antibiotic resistance. For making this MOOC reach this point, I would like to acknowledge the inputs from each and every person who took out time to give their efforts and inputs to make this MOOC up to the point. This has been a joint result of the collaboration from the team Prevented. Before I begin with the session today, I would like to request the speakers to kindly finish.
Ms. Ria, if there is internet problem, can I take it over?
Hello. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. A warm welcome to all the esteemed speakers who we have with us here today on Zoom platform. I thank each and everyone for joining us today for the MOOC launch. And I would also like to welcome the audience and the students who have joined us on YouTube. On behalf of the team Prevented, I, Ria Joshi, would like to thank you for joining us for the launch of massive open online course. MOOC is an exclusive platform curated with a vision to offer 4 free certification courses on risk management and prevention of antibiotic resistance. For making this MOOC reach up to this stage, I would like to thank the input and efforts of each and every person who took out time to make this MOOC up to the point. The MOOC has been a joint result from the contribution from the team Prevented. Before I begin with the session today, I would like to request the speakers to kindly finish the talk within the given slot of time. Also, as I am the moderator of this session, I would request you to kindly let me know when you want me to change the slide. So to begin with the session, I would like to call Dr. Kiranjeet Kaur, the coordinator from Chitkara University, to give us a brief about the Prevented project. Ma'am, over to you.
Very good morning to one and all present. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. So as asked, I will just make you go through a very small, quick journey about why these MOOCs are being created and why this topic is very important. So let me start from the very beginning. So I hope all of us know that microorganisms are basically of two types, right? There are good microbes, there are bad microbes. But of course, we need not to worry about the good microbes. But yes, we do need to worry about the bad microbes. So for instance, we have the examples such as fungi, viruses, bacteria, parasites. But luckily, we have some medicines called as antimicrobials that can help us to fight against these situations. So as the today's MOOC, as explained by Ms. Ria, they are mostly focused on antibiotics. So let me tell you and request you to please keep in mind that we will be talking about antibiotics, and these are the medicines that help us to curb the diseases which are only caused by bacteria. And the first antibiotic that was developed was in the year 1928, and I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the name penicillin, which is also known as miracle drug. Next. So very common bacterial diseases which are caused are, you know already, like tuberculosis, pneumonia, cholera, tooth decay. So all these are the bad impact of these bacteria. But as I've already mentioned, we are lucky, we have antibiotics. And you can see very nice cartoon at the bottom. You have a blue antibiotic, which is, acting as a wrestler kind of a thing. And there are small bad microbes who are running away and they are afraid of the antibiotic. And once we take the antibiotic, next please, we become healthy from that feverish situation. Next. And then these antibiotics has also helped us to increase the life expectancy. Of course, we know when we are suffering from a disease, our life expectancy goes down. But if we have something such as antibiotics, they help us to increase the life expectancy. Next. So one very important point also to keep in mind that these bacteria, they are so, the bad bacteria, they are so bad that they do not differentiate between animals and plants. They cause diseases to humans, they cause diseases to animals as well as to plants. But luckily, some antibiotics can be used and all of us can get treatment. Next. So like they say, excess of everything is bad, right? So with time, when we kept on using these antibiotics, that led to injudicious use of these antibiotics. So these bacteria, they got the knowledge, they adapted to a situation in such a way that today they are becoming more stronger in a way that they have gained the capacity to grow even in the presence of antibiotics. You can see now, if you compare the size of these microbes, these bacteria compared to the previous slides, see they have increased in size, they have hairs, they have become more, horrible. Like I can imagine the horror movie looking at them. So they have become more stronger and now they have gained the capacity to grow in the presence of antibiotics. And this situation is alarming, and this situation is called as antibiotic resistance. Next. So in a very simple term, if I want to make you understand, so a situation when the antibiotics lose their capacity to act on bacteria. Why? Because the bacteria have mutated, they have adapted themselves, and they have become more stronger. So as you can see, as depicted in this picture again, see the same antibiotic, but now the bacteria has become bigger and stronger. Next, please. So of course, what will happen if the bacteria have become stronger and the antibiotics are unable to act? What will happen at the end of the day? The disease will prolong for a longer time, right? And that will result in longer stay in hospital. That will result in failure of surgeries, organ transplants. Of course, you will try, the doctors and physicians, they will try to give another type of antibiotic, which is more stronger, and that will have more side effects, right? And as other points, they are like of a very basic sense that there will be high bills at hospital, loss of earnings, and high cost of antimicrobials. Next. So now let us try to understand how dangerous is that situation. We know, okay, bacteria have become stronger. Fine, they are causing us bad diseases. We are unable to fight against them. But then, is it problematic? Yes, it is. Even today, and I'm sure these numbers are underrated. Even today, we are suffering globally. There are 7 lakh deaths occurring per year only due to these bad bacteria which are causing resistant infections. Also, if you look only at the amount of deaths which are happening in Europe, that is around 25,000 per year. And if you look at Indian scenario, approximately 2 to 7% of mortality rate is contributed directly to this situation. And of these, 58,000 newborn deaths per year in India are attributed to these resistant infections, which is not a very good number. Next. Specifically now, if we look at the Indian scenario, why India should worry more about, because if you see on the very left, there's a very nice poster, and we always feel happy when we are on the top, but that is not very good when we always talk about the population. And recently there was a news, I think a couple of days back, that India is going to surpass China also in coming years very soon. So that is not a very happy situation. Similarly here, if you see, India is at the top, that India is the biggest consumer of antibiotics. Okay, so I will not go through all these points, of course, keeping time in mind, but just to highlight a couple of points, that 40% of children in India are malnourished. So they are already under the risk of more infections. So more infections means more diseases, and more diseases means more chances of resistant infections, right? And if you see on the right side, again, there are statistics showing what is the number of antibiotics, which is compared to other countries, and the consumption in Indian scenario. Next. So what will happen? Now we have talked about the problem. ABR is a problem. Okay, it is leading to this much of deaths, and this is the bad situation. Now, what will happen if we still, even after knowing all this information, we don't do anything today? There will be a bad impact in future. And if you see here, this is the number which indicates, and I need not to say anything about it because the number says it all. That is, there will be 10 million deaths per year by the year 2050. Only due to drug-resistant infection. And let me tell you, these numbers are much higher compared to cancer, diabetes, road accidents, and other diseases or other non-communicable diseases. So in a way, it will also cost a lot, as you see the number. And if you go to more of a statistics, one person could die every 3 seconds. So you can very well imagine from the moment we have started this session, what will be the situation at that point of time. Next. So how did we respond? So luckily, it's not that we are sitting idle, we know about it, so bad things are there, fine, but we are working on it. So in the year 2015, globally, World Health Organization has started the Global Action Plan on AMR, and now only in a couple of years, India also created their own national action plan to fight against AMR. And the 6 strategies that you are seeing at the bottom are the strategies which are there in the manual of national action plan. So basically, these are the 6 key strategies which India and of course globally people should adapt if they do not want to see that devastating situation which is coming up. So out of all these points, one major point which is which is acting at the grassroots level is the first point: improve awareness and understanding of AMR through effective communication, education, and training. So if we are educating people at the very right point of time, at the early age, they already know that, okay, how we have to tackle this situation. And this is some problem which is coming up in future. So next, keeping this in mind and keeping the target on this particular strategy of global as well as Indian National Action Plan, Prevented Project, as already mentioned by my colleague, Ms. Ria, that Prevented has come up with this initiative, which is, and it is a project which is co-funded by Erasmus Plus program of European Union. And we thought that this is the right time, though we still feel we are a little late, but this is the right time to start creating awareness on this issue through the project entitled Risk Management and Prevention of Antibiotic Resistance. Next. So there are multiple outcomes of this project. For example, we are creating awareness through workshops, through seminars, webinars, multiple things. But one of the key objectives of this project, or key outcome of this, expected outcome of this project, is also to develop and disseminate free, massive, open online courses. Because we totally believe that till the time you do not know about the problem, you cannot start acting against the problem. Next. So in this regard, I'm very happy and proud that all of us had made effort, and we have come up with 4 MOOC courses, namely Basic Concepts of Antibiotic Resistance and Overview, Antibiotic Resistance, Molecular Mechanisms and Diagnostics, Antibiotic Resistance, Prevention and Risk Management, and last but not the least, Antibiotic Resistance Challenges in India, a Community Perspective. My colleagues will also talk about them in a short bit of time. And the major point next is that all these courses are free certification courses. So once you enroll, you need not to pay any money or any amount to get information which is being created by this platform. Next. Next. So yeah, one very important point, that these MOOC courses, these are self-paced courses, in the sense that there is no specific start time that, okay, you can start these courses in the month of Jan or in the month of Feb or March. As of now, all these are self-paced courses. You can just enroll for the course at any point of time and you can complete the course. And then all these courses, previous slide please, all these courses are created with the combination of videos, written context, webinars, PowerPoints, quizzes. And I would also like to mention that the people who were involved in creating these MOOC courses, they have also made their own videos, because we wanted to make it as interesting as possible. And we know only talking to a laptop or listening and reading all the time makes it a little boring. So we have made our efforts best to make it as interesting as possible. We have also provided additional reading materials in all the MOOC courses, so that if the student want to go in more deeper details, you can always refer to those reading materials. And yes, like they say, free is a word which is a pseudo word, like nothing comes free in the sense. Of course, you need not to pay any payment, but of course there are some assessments, because we want you to gain the knowledge. It's not that you just do it for fun or something, because this is a serious issue, and I'm sure all of you already know the scenario as I've mentioned. So we have kept close-ended questions. So there are no open-ended question, in the sense there are MCQs, there are match the following, fill in the blanks, these kind of questionnaires, and there is one final assessment. So there is some percentage which my colleagues will share with you in a bit of time. So for every MOOC course, once you cross that particular grade and in the final assessment, you are eligible for a certificate which is having Erasmus Plus logo, Prevented logo, and all the partners logo. Next. So yeah, when you have to, and before I forget, I should mention that we have created all these MOOC courses on the Canvas platform, and we are very, very thankful to that association who has given us this chance, because they provide this free of cost to the teachers. Of course, the some different versions are there. So you have to sign up for the MOOC course. As I've already shared, there are different type of MOOC courses according to the audience. So depending on your choice, you can have you can choose the particular course, and then you can go to the Canvas platform. You can log in as a student, and while you are doing the login, you should remember your username. Why I'm saying that, that I will explain quickly. Next slide, please. Because once you re-log in, I don't know why there is, but this is how it is, that the system will not take your email ID as a login. It will ask for your username. Okay, so please remember, while you are logging for the first time, please remember your username, because second time when you re-log in, you have to use your username as a login. So my colleague in the end of the session will also share with you that where you can locate these MOOC courses if you want to join in for the MOOC course. And that is, all this information is available on our official website of Prevented Project, and she will share with you in the end. I think this is all from my side, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kiranjit Kaur. I think you have indeed made the basics very clear and interesting for us. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Donna Bobin, the Associate Researcher from Amrita University, Kerala, to talk about the building of the MOOC and experience sharing.
A very good morning to one and all present here. And thank you for taking your time out to attend this launch event. I am privileged to share how we develop the preventive MOOCs. So before starting with the experience sharing, I am standing here as a representative of all these associate researchers who worked hard day in and night to bring out these online courses. So I would like to introduce you to the associate researchers, the heart and brain behind the MOOCs. 7 researchers have worked behind the scenes, out of which 2 researchers, Dr. Amrita and Ms. Mausami, are currently working with different firms. Dr. Amrita and Ms. Mausami, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge the hard work that you put forth during your tenure in developing these MOOCs. Thank you so much. And now I would like to introduce the current associate researchers. As and when I call out the names, can you please switch on your camera and just wave a hi, just to let everyone know that you are the person behind the MOOCs. So I would like to introduce Ms. Riya Joshi from Symbiosis International, Mr. Jyoti Prakash from KIT University, Dr. Rakshita from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, and Dr. Kiranjit Kaur from the Chitkara University. Thank you all for the support and the cooperation extended. Now coming to the experience sharing, disseminating the right knowledge on antibiotic resistance is the goal of this project. The development of MOOC is one of the ways to achieve this goal. Initially, we thought of developing a single MOOC, but during the various brainstorming sessions and discussions, we found out that a single MOOC wouldn't serve the entire community, just like how one size doesn't fit all. So we decided to devise 4 different MOOCs targeting various audiences. But developing these MOOCs was not a cakewalk because none of us were experienced in developing a MOOC. Then came into the picture Dr. Daniel from Maastricht University. We were fortunate to host one of her webinars on MOOC and online teaching. And I must say that was the first step for us into the world of MOOC development. And then we started to identify various platforms which can best host our MOOCs. We had n number of platforms, like if I could recall some names, it could be Udemy, Coursera, Canvas, etc. Scrutinizing the requirements, talking with the technical team, comparing the platforms, the pros and cons of each platform. It was time taking, but still, finally, we zeroed into the Canvas infrastructure. And to develop additional skills, we also enrolled on courses dealing with the development of online courses. Coming on to the preparation of the MOOC, since we were new to the field, we started with the preparation of the first MOOC. We started with preparing an outline for the MOOC, and it included all the topics that we need to address in that particular MOOC, keeping in mind the target audience. Then the contents were developed, and the contents were peer-reviewed repeatedly to check for information accuracy. Following that, the MOOC was pilot tested among the students from the various partner organizations. And the feedback from them were positive, which boosted our confidence. And then we embarked on developing the remaining 3 MOOCs. The next step after the developing the contents was to develop images to avoid any copyright issues. Mr. Chetan from Brander Company helped us to overcome this hurdle. He did a commendable job in recreating the images. We had many online discussions on the pictures, how to recreate them, where to place them, what should be the size, what should be the color scheme, are the data correct? You know, like the number of emails that we sent among us, the number of meetings, that's in number, like we cannot count that. So Mr. Chetan did an admirable job in addressing our concerns and creating these images, thereby saving us from all the copyright issues. Chetan sir, if you are hearing us at this moment, We are extending heartfelt gratitude from each of us for your commendable work. The one feedback that we received during the pilot testing was to include introduction and conclusion videos for each module within the MOOC, so that it can be made more personalized, just like how Dr. Kiranjit Kaur told in her session. So this feedback was considered, and then we moved forward with recording the videos at Chitkara University with the help of Mr. Himanshu. And this was another new experience for us because we were standing in front of the camera for the first time and delivering the talks. Again, countless discussions and meetings succeeded that. And then we finalized the videos that need to be uploaded onto the Canvas platform. Finally, all videos, images, and contents were uploaded on the Canvas platform. The courses were shared among the consortium partners for their feedback. And yes, we received much constructive feedbacks, and those were duly addressed. Throughout the journey, Dr. Daniel was with us, providing us with valuable feedbacks to improve the MOOCs. And finally, here we are standing in front of you with the 4 different preventive MOOCs. These MOOCs are fine examples of multidisciplinary collaborative partnership, I must say. We had many challenges on the way, but every challenge has a solution, right? And we too found solution for each challenges that we faced through multiple people and developed these MOOCs. We hope to reach various audiences through these online courses to inculcate the right knowledge of antibiotic resistance in them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Donna Bobin, for sharing the building of the MOOCs. Now we begin with the introduction to the MOOCs. There are 4 different MOOCs that have been created, keeping in mind the various target audience. And let me tell you again, all the courses are free and with certificate. Now I would like to request Dr. Himanshu Pradhan, the coordinator from Kalinga University, to introduce the first MOOC titled The Overview on the Basic Concepts of Antibiotic Resistance.
Good morning to all of you. It's a great privilege to be part of this MOOC launch today. And part of the area already discussed. It's a very continuous effort for all our research associates. They have taken the time and the effort to make it happen. So I'll be discussing the basic concept of antibiotic resistance and overview. One Dr. Donna told, we have already developed 4 MOOC. And the first one is called Basic Concept of Antibiotic Resistance and Overview. Next. Next, please. So this is a 7-hour-long course, and in this first introductory module, the participant will be familiarity with the basic terms such as antibiotics, bacteria, antibiotic resistance. That will help to understand the things more easily because subsequent slides are based on this concept. So this introductory module, it will help the student or the participant to know the basic nitty-gritty of the antibiotics related, antibiotic resistance related concept. So the learning output comes basically by the end of the programs, but end of the course, the student will understand the basic concept of antibiotic resistance. They learn about the different threads of antibiotic resistance to understand how antibiotics and resistance spread across the globe, and to even about various management strategies to address antibiotic resistance. And the target audience for these programs are anyone who have completed 12th standard and is interested to learn more about antibiotic resistance. And there are combination because the course content it's a combination of written text, PowerPoint presentations, video, and quizzes. And by the end of the program course, and if it's a detailed level of competency achieved, then a free certificate will be issued. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, that whole course is divided into 4 units. Unit 1 is basically introductions in terms of health, disease, and the structures of the bacteria, what are the basic concepts of antibiotics, type of antibiotics, and the mode of actions, and how antibiotics operate inside body. And also it will reflect about post-antibiotic era, because the first antibiotics in 1928 when penicillin came, so it brought a revolution in modern medicines. And subsequent that over the period of time there are lots of development as happened in case of antibiotic development and also simultaneously resistance. So it will also give a reflections about post-antibiotic era. What are these situations? The unit 2, it will give more aspect, basically basic concept of antimicrobial resistance. Then what are the difference between antimicrobial resistance and antibiotic resistance? And also it will highlight different types of resistance like multi-drug resistance, external drug resistance, and external drug resistance, and pan-drug resistance. So I mean these concepts, these are all important concepts because now these microbes, they are resistant to more than one antibiotic. They are resistant to wide because some group of antibiotics, some group of antimicrobials, they are resistant to almost all kind of antimicrobial categories. So that's a pan-drug resistance. So there are the basic concept. It will be reflected in this module to make the participant aware of the different type of resistance, and it also reflect the cause and spread of AMR. What are the different factors, determinants, responsible for antimicrobial resistance, and also it will highlight how the resistance spread from animal to human, from environment, animal environment to human. So different wave of spread and how it was spreading from across the countries, across the globe. So all this aspect it will be reflected in this unit. And also there's a One Health and AMR, because if you understand that antibiotic resistance is not limited only, because antibiotics are not only given to human but also the animals, and also agricultural antibiotics are used. So that very quickly the spread of resistance between human, animal, and environment or agriculture will happen. So to understand or to address the antimicrobial resistance issue, we have to work together. So the concept called One Health approach, bringing human health, animal health, and environmental health or agricultural aspect to bring together cohesively the concept called One Health approach. So this will give the basic concept about that. And unit 3 also, because already I discussed, it will give little more detail about how the spread and also this concept. And the most importantly, unit 3 also gives the threats of area, the epidemiology, in the sense due to antibiotic resistance, what are the situation of mortality, what are the situation of morbidity, and how antibiotic resistance leads to longer durations of stays and lots of suffering, and how it is impacting the economy of the countries, GDPs. So this aspect it will reflect for the statistics and all sorts of things. The last unit called unit 4, it will reflect more on risk management and prevention of antibiotic resistance. In this, because there are different aspects, there are different ways to risk management. To name a few, like your hand hygiene, infection prevention, control, then biomedical waste management, nutrition. So there are different aspects of risk management and prevention related things will be discussed here, but it will not be predictable because from there we have a dedicated unit for it. So next slide, please. So what are the different assessment patterns during this course? Because because there will be people starting the course, there are pre-assessment before, during, and after the course assessments are there. So we have closed-ended questions and fill in the blanks, then MCQs, true and false. So these are different type of questions category, and only final assessment after the course is graded. Because the initial things will not graded, but the final by end of the course, the final assessment will be graded, and all quizzes can be attempted twice. They have given the liberty twice to assess the quiz. And once a student successfully scores 80% and above, then he is eligible for that certifications and will receive a certificate. So this is basically in a brief about basic concept of antibiotic resistance module and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Himanshu Pradhan, for introducing the first MOOC to us. Moving on, I would like to invite Dr. Sunil Saroj, the coordinator from Symbiosis International University, to introduce the course on molecular mechanism and diagnosis of ABR.
Yeah, hey, good morning. We keep talking about antibiotic resistance. But from where this antibiotic resistance is coming into existence, that we should be aware of that, so that we can devise novel therapeutics or novel strategies to overcome this antibiotic resistance. Where is this resistance present? How is this resistance getting transmitted to the pathogens, and how these pathogens try to restore or try to develop kind of a storage of such kind of resistance, whereby they can remain pathogenic or virulent for a longer period of time. They can fight against all kind of antibiotics that we will be providing to them. And also they take a clue also from the environment, wherein they build up a certain level of mechanism so that they become resistant to the new antibiotics that will be delivered to them. So therefore, to be fight against this bacteria, it's very important to understand this antibiotic resistance mechanism, so that we can be a step ahead than the bacteria itself. Again, it is all the procedures or all the mechanisms that have been developed by the bacteria or by any living system is to fight and to remain in the struggle of existence. So therefore, each of the living forms has to constantly struggle to develop novel strategies so that their survival increases. So similar works with the bacteria as well. So they keep constantly improving against any of the antibiotics or any amount of stress that will be added to their doubling cycle. So therefore, they keep on acquiring newer mechanisms of resistance which already persist in the environment. They acquire newer resistance mechanisms that do not persist in the environment, that are completely novel, that is modification of some of their proteins or modification of some of their membrane component that can happen randomly, and then they get selected in the course of evolution. So therefore, this topic on antibiotic resistance, molecular mechanisms, and diagnostics was introduced so that we get a clear understanding from where this resistance is coming to the bacteria. This MOOC is approximately 7 hours long, and the learning outcomes for this is defined to be to understand the key mechanisms of antibacterial resistance, to learn about the genetic basis of the antibiotic resistance, and to understand various diagnostic methods that will be used to learn how to understand whether the bacteria is resistant or it is sensitive, and if it is resistant, from where this resistance coming in from. However, though it sounds a bit complex, but there is no prerequisite to attend this MOOC, because it is going to introduce the basic concepts of antibiotics, basic concepts of resistance. It is going to define the bacteria as well, and it is going to link from where this resistance is coming to the bacteria. Therefore, a small familiarity with the antibiotics and its existence might be helpful, but however, it is open to the new people who have no understanding of biological sciences even. So they will be able to comfortably understand this MOOC. But the prime target audience for this would be the postgraduate students, doctoral students of life science, medicine, dentistry, nursing, allied health sciences, veterinary studies, agricultural studies. Coming from a range of biological sciences or life sciences profile, it will be helpful to epidemiologists, researchers, educators, and as well as the policy makers. Because to make the concept much more easier to understand against to a more diverse kind of audience, it is going to incorporate a combination of written text, PowerPoints, videos, quizzes, etc. We can have the next slide. Yeah. So the course has been, so considering the outcomes of the this MOOC, like wherein we want to familiarize the people from where this antibiotic resistance is coming in from, what are the different factors, what are the genetic basis of this AMR, and what could be the different diagnostic methods for this. So we have 3 defined outcomes for this MOOC. And depending upon these outcomes, we have the course plan, which in the unit 1 is going to define the basics of antibiotics and how this resistance is getting developed, including the One Health concept, which will be utilized to fight against these resistance mechanisms. We will be talking about the genetic basis of ABR, wherein we talk about the intrinsic resistance, that is the resistance that has been present in the bacteria from the beginning. Not all bacteria get killed by a single antibiotic. So that means there are different antibiotics for different bacteria, indicating that one bacteria is resistant to one antibiotic and sensitive to the other. So therefore, there is not only one drug that is going to kill all the bacteria. So different drugs is required for different kind of bacteria. And that is mostly determined by their intrinsic resistance mechanisms. And then we have acquired resistance. So all the sensitive bacteria which can get killed by a particular antibiotic. So now they have to fight for their own life. So therefore, they will acquire this resistance from the environment. That we are going to look into how this kind of acquisition takes place in the acquired resistance. And then we'll be talking about the adaptive resistance as well, wherein after exposure to a regular stress, particularly the antibiotics, the bacteria slowly gets adapted to those stress factors, and that we will be describing in detail how this adaptance takes place. And all of these 3 resistance mechanisms is basically governed by the communication system in the bacteria, that is their ability to talk with each other, as well as their ability to talk with the surroundings and their ability to communicate with the other species. They can talk to human cells, they can talk to other bacteria, they can talk to fungi, and the process is generally defined by a simple term that is called as a quorum sensing. So we will be looking into that as well. In the unit 4, we will be talking about biofilms. By bacteria, by making a biofilm, they become resistant to many different kinds of stress. So therefore, it's very important to understand how biofilm plays a role in antimicrobial resistance. And in the unit 5, we will try to understand how the diagnosis is done and what are the different methods for those diagnoses that has been used. We can have the next slide. Yeah. So the assessment pattern that we are going to follow is a continuous assessment. So throughout this MOOC, I mean, the entire concepts will be continuously assessed. So we will be having assessments before even the MOOC starts, during the MOOC, and after the course as well. We will be making use of different evaluation strategies such as MCQs, fill in the blanks, match the following, true and false, so that we get an overall understanding of those concepts. However, most of these assessments will not be graded. Only the final assessment towards the end of the course will be graded, and the participant will be allowed to go through these quizzes at least twice if they feel like they have not been able to secure, that is 80% of the marks that is required for certification, they can attempt it again. And once they have scored 80% of the scores, they will be receiving a certificate in their email. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Saroj, for introducing the course on molecular mechanism and diagnosis. Next, I would like to call Dr. Prakash Narayan, the coordinator from Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Karnataka, to give an introduction about the MOOC 3, which is titled as ABR Prevention and Risk Management.
Yes. Good morning and good afternoon, all the audience and the coordinators and the subject experts. My task is to introduce this third MOOC on this preventive project, and which is titled as Antibiotic Resistance and Prevention and Risk Management. Next slide, please. Priya, next slide, please. So it has got 3 units. Okay. So it's about, it's one of the longest MOOC in this group. It's about 18 hours of learning time to complete this MOOC. And it will be, at the end of completion of this course, the participants will be understanding about the basics of antibiotics, antimicrobials, and antimicrobial resistance, antibiotic resistance, the burden of antimicrobial resistance, and the healthcare setting associated infections and how it is linked to ABR, and One Health approach and the multi-sectoral coordination. How is it important to tackle this, or the risk or managing risk of antibiotic resistance? So multi-sectoral and what is it, like animal sector, human sector, agriculture sector, trade, pharmacy, hospital settings. So, and plus environment, as previous speakers mentioned. So all are later means contributing, and the spread, it will be increasing or maybe changing the spread or transmission of antibiotic resistance. So we'll be trying to understand about the policies in place, and what are the means what is global guideline and success stories of countries, and what is happening in India. So basically this is about the quick course, and it is applicable to all undergraduate, postgraduate health science students and PhD scholars, epidemiologists, researchers, and policy makers. Yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so the first unit, so as I mentioned, 3 units are there in this course. So though it is just 3 units, the time is around 18 hours. There's a lot of readings. You'll be reading and understanding the policies, and means a lot of videos, a lot of assignments and PowerPoints. It's already part of this MOOC, and we'll be going through them, and we'll be trying to understand about the causes, spread, burden, and strategies or risk management and prevention strategies, and different stages, and different say international level and national level at India, and state level action plans to tackle antimicrobial resistance. So we'll be understanding the challenges, what is happening, where we are at this point of time, and how to improve the situation, and which sector is least address, okay, maybe contributing to this, or maybe which sector is maximum contributing to the resistance, and what is happening in that sector in the prevention and management of antimicrobial resistance or antibiotic resistance. So that is unit 3, and yeah, can you go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so though it's only 3 units, the number of questions, which is, you have to complete a final assessment of 30 questions, not like 25 questions in the previous MOOCs, to get a certificate. And it, again, as all the other MOOCs, it also has got a continuous assessment, pre, during the course, and final evaluation of the learnings and the outcomes, understanding. And yes, the questions are mostly close-ended questions, and there'll be some assignments, and there'll be discussion points, and some quizzes. And at the end of completing all these requirements, you will get a certificate. Thank you. Dr. Priya? Thank you. And I wish all the learners, all the learners happy learning. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Prakash Narayan. for introducing the MOOC 3 to us. Now, moving on, I would like to invite Dr. Sanjeev Singh, the coordinator from Amrita University, to give us brief about the ABR challenges in India as a community perspective. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you, the whole team. I remember pre-COVID visiting University of Maastricht and the team there who had a fantastic experience on problem-based learning and MOOC, who guided to prepare that fabric, which is so important to get the MOOC done. And thanks to the fantastic team, all headed by Dr. Kiranjeet, who has tirelessly worked so hard to get most of the prevented programs in place, and the fantastic researchers like Amrita, Mosmi, Ria, Jyoti, Rakshita, and Dona. They have done superb work. They have put in a lot of hard work and developed this particular program, which is so very well done, very easy to understand, and very comprehensive. So my previous speakers covered the three basic buckets of antibiotic resistance coverage in this MOOC. With COVID, we have seen that all online programs and the dissemination works fantastically well. And that is how this program also would be immensely successful. Community perspective is utterly important, only because all antibiotic resistance work is happening throughout the globe, more in a tertiary care hospital. And within tertiary care hospital, the work happens in an intensive care setting. And that is because possibly it is easy to collect data in the intensive care setting, and very easy to sort of formulate the antibiograms, because you have very, very limited choice. And if you have to follow the AWARE classification of WHO, you are left with reserve drugs. But the scenario in community is completely different. And that is where it would be enormously beneficial if we are able to change the behavior of antibiotic consumption and prescription practices in community. So we have been doing a couple of projects, and we understand that those difficult, not available reserve drugs is not an issue. It is basically coming back to the foundation of rational prescription, and then which is directly proportional, which should be directly proportional to rational consumptions. And that is where the community role comes in play. And the counseling towards taking these antimicrobials would be extremely important. So our team who have worked so well with respect to community programs, Dr. Munshi and the whole group. So our first cut would be a 3-long course looking at very, very basic, because here you are reaching out to the community level, you are reaching out to Anganwadi levels, ASHA, teachers, self-help group people, Kutumbashri, women empowerment group, and things like that. So it is made extremely simple, it is made extremely enjoyable, and a very easy understanding of how antibiotics is not to be considered as wonder drug. It should be taken only when it is prescribed, and not consumed without physician's advice. And it is just not about the drug, but also about follow-ups, their durations and their frequency. And most of the antibiotic gets stopped in the community once the symptoms they are recovering. And that is what is important. The course of antimicrobials and antibiotics are extremely essential. And this is what would be conveyed in a very, very simple, easy to understand, and in their linguistic pattern to various group of people. So what we are looking at is how we can create this awareness that there is a problem. It is the next pandemic, but then it could be prevented. and how best we can prevent. So both a bit of infection control at that at the community level with respect to the prescription practices. So it is as it was mentioned by all the speakers plus the work by associate researchers, that it is a free certificate course, and it is a mix of various videos, various quiz programs to make it interesting and to make it more participative. So this is very, very unique because most of the MOOC programs which are available, whether it is from the multinational academic universities or some of the United Nations linked bodies, they all are restricting themselves towards hospital. But this MOOC program is slightly innovative and different, where it covers community, which is 80% of the consumption which happens post hospital discharges. So next slide. So once it is it is all done, the assessments would be based on the 4 units. It would be important for everybody to understand the basics, to look at the resistance pattern, but it is made so simple through video and to an easy understanding of how the antibiotic resistance would work. What is extremely critical is to understand One Health approach, and that is where the community comes in, because One Health approach may not be practiced in the hospitals or in an institutional or in a science-based pattern. Here is where the human medicine, the animal or animal husbandry medicine, and environment science would come into play. So if you have any of these antibiotics at home, and if they have expired, they need to be disposed of properly. The water which is one of the common ingredients, needs to be checked and mixed and treated properly, and then that is how it should be consumed. And there are lots of misuse of antibiotics and concerned API formulas in animal husbandry, which is used as growth promoters. And that is where the community, again, India being slightly different, where there are so many livestock groups, and a big group which exists in US is somewhat different concept, and that is where the challenge comes in India for its implementation. So One Health concept, if it is understood well, I think there the big change can come in for antibiotic resistance pattern, because the human medicine would get corrected, the way appropriateness of animal growth promoters, which needs to be avoided for antibiotic prescription, could be corrected. And also the environment science, where the landfills and the water could be sort of treated well and consumed well. And there is where the population and behavioral science would come in. And there are definitely challenges, but we'll understand it together and make those kind of a differentials. So prevention would be the key. We would look for lots of government laws and policies, which is going to take its own time, because that requires advocacy and a lot of lobbying for good cause. But then reaching out to the good community, key opinion leaders, and making that behavioral change would be important. And we hope that by this MOOC, we are able to reach out to maximum people and also change behavior. Next slide. So I think with this, what is important is that we are creating a new history. We have been concentrating in hospital and hospital-based environments for antibiotic resistance. Antimicrobial resistance is a public health agenda where public needs to be involved, and this is the first time in the history that a MOOC which is developed, which would be for community consumption. And I am 100% sure and very confident that it's going to have a lot of impact. So your assessment towards this MOOC would be done as has been told for all the courses. So it won't be much of a difference. And ultimately, you will receive a certification if you do well, which I'm sure you all will. So I would really like to congratulate my contemporaries, Dr. Himanshu, Dr. Pradhan, Dr. Sunil, and above all, Dr. Kiranjit and the whole team at Chitkara, who have done phenomenal work in putting this concept together. And I wish all of them very, very best. And we would love to have more feedback from you so that we can keep improving. So all the very best, and look forward to interacting more with you in future. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sanjeev Singh, for introducing the fourth and the last MOOC for us. I think by now the audience will be very clear with the 4 MOOCs that we have introduced for you. Coming up, I would like to invite Dr. Danielle Verstegen, Program Director from the Maastricht University, for the official launch of the Prevented MOOC. She has been a pillar of strength throughout the journey of the MOOC, from her inputs to how to create the MOOC, to the feedbacks after and throughout the journey. She has been an active part. So I would really like to express my gratitude towards that. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. And I feel really, really honored to be with you tonight. First of all, my congratulations for these fantastic MOOCs, for the whole team that worked on the content and on the materials. It feels like yesterday that I met some of you in Maastricht, and I remember asking a lot of difficult questions. Who are these MOOCs for? What is your target audience? What do they need to know? I think I made your life hard at the start, but look at where you arrived now with 4 MOOCs for different target audiences. We had to then continue our collaboration online because none of us could travel, and it shows your persistence and your creativity that you managed to go on with developing these MOOCs and making the progress that was needed to get where we are today. I remember asking more questions than online when I saw the previous concept versions, and I really admire the enormous amount of work that the whole team has put in this. The result is worth it. You've ended up with 4 MOOCs with really, really attractive and professional visual material with lots of important content. But most importantly, you have ended up with MOOCs that reach out to healthcare professionals, to the public, to the community, and that will have an enormous impact on health and healthcare in India, and probably also beyond India, because MOOCs are free for everyone to participate. I don't think I want to talk too much because I was just really, really happy to travel with you on this journey, and I'm looking forward to what impact it will have when these MOOCs are launched. So I would like to ask all the coordinators, the associate researchers, the project team, everybody who was involved, to switch on your cameras so that we can all see you and that you can see each other. And that you can show how proud you are of what you've achieved today. And I would like to officially launch the MOOCs now. The curtains open, and this is what you've accomplished. So should I give the word officially back?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Daniel, for launching the MOOC for us and for being a part of this event today. To give the closing remarks, I would like to stop the screen sharing and request Ms. Varnika Sharma, the project manager, to go ahead and give the concluding remarks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Priya, for having me over here. And I would like to steal this moment to just showcase to all of you where you can find this MOOC. I have been seeing many messages in the YouTube comment section who are asking, okay, but we want to join it. Where can we find it? So please wait for a minute. I'm just going to show it to you. Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
Okay, just give me a minute, please. Is it visible now? If anybody can confirm, please.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. So, all right, everybody, thank you for joining us on YouTube. And okay, when you go to our website, which is www.prevented.in, that is the official website of our project, you will find this page. All right, and there you can go under the section resources. And under the resources section, you will find the section massive open online courses. And then there you have the entire details, like the name of the MOOC, the joining code, and all the steps that you need to log in into the account. So it is very, very easy. You will be able to find out your way throughout by yourself. But in case you face any issue, you can just go step by step. You have to click I'm a student. You have to fill your details. In the joining code, you can go here and see which MOOC you want to join. Just copy the code, paste it there, then use all your details as Kiranjit ma'am told you earlier, all the steps. Then you can log in. And while you are logging in again, you can just click here, okay, with your basically your username and your password. So it will be very easy for you. And if you go to the bottom of the page, it will be very easy. You can click here and it will take you to the page of Canvas instructions. Okay. And from here, you can follow all the steps. It would be very, very easy. And the journey is going to be very interesting for you. You will love it. I'm very sure. And please make sure that you tell us by sending emails or any kind of feedback, because the entire team worked a lot for it. And the whole team would love to know your feedback, how you are loving the course and how you are enjoying the course. And in the last, I would like to take this moment to thank all the stakeholders who have been present with us throughout this entire beautiful journey of creating these MOOC courses. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers who are present today, who took out time from their very busy schedules to just be with us, introduce the MOOC, and then very importantly, our associate researchers. I have seen our associate researchers work day and night, every day, just trying to put all their energy together to bring out this very nice MOOC courses for you. So kudos to them. Thank you so much, our associates, for bringing these courses for us. Then all the Prevented team members in all the partner universities, we were bothering them for so long, sending them the forms, okay, give us feedback. How do you like it? How do you not like it? So thank you to all the team members in all the partner universities. Dr. Daniel for her constant support. It was a very big support. You were like a backbone for the entire journey. So thank you so much. Professor Stefano Greco for always pushing us to do better. We were always, staggering in between, but yeah, he was always there to just push us and ensure very high quality production. So thank you for that. Then our design team, video production team, all the students who just went through the MOOC courses, provide us feedback. So now today we are available with very high quality MOOC, and I'm very sure you will love it. And last but not the least, the platform Canvas Instructor for providing us a very, smooth journey and a very smooth platform that you will also feel enjoyable, and we also loved creating it. So again, to all the students, all the people, all the professors, everyone who is watching us on YouTube, on Zoom, thank you so much for being with us. And I invite you wholeheartedly to just come on with us in this journey and just fight against antibiotic resistance. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.
Thank you. All the best.